Good morning. Today we are talking about safety, tool safety specifically in the shop. So if you look in instructions and notes, you can see our standard. We are going to go over the PowerPoints today, and then at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, depending on when you have me, is when we're going to test. So if you have not passed your general safety test, we need to do that. And that way you can take this one. You have to make a 100 to be able to go into the shop, okay? So, our PowerPoint, you have a bell ringer for today. Give 2 examples of ways accidents can happen in the shop, and you should be able to easily answer that because we've already done general safety, okay? So, for our PowerPoint, it's already embedded in the thing right there that says Tool Safety PowerPoint. Okay, so if you've not taken the general safety test and passed with a score of a 100%, you got to get that done before you can go in the shop. If you have not completed your beef quality assurance certification, you cannot participate in labs until that is done. I'll assign maybe some book work for you to do, but you're going to have to do that on top of your BQA. So if you have any questions, let me know and I'll get that handled for you. Okay, so safety is important because one, natural concern for people's welfare. We want them to be safe. And then if we are talking about careers and building contractors, it's a financial issue, okay? So injuries to employees are costly since they reduce the efficiency of the working force and may result in expensive medical bills and lawsuits. So the employers have to worry about that. Okay, so who's at risk? So younger workers are at risk because they're more likely to be injured than older workers because older workers have more experience. And then new employees have a higher accident rate than longtime employees because of unfamiliarity with the job. So once you get used to doing things, you become safer because you have a habit of making safety a part of your everyday life, okay? It is very possible that longtime employees become too comfortable with the job and they also get injured because they're comfortable, they know what they're doing, and they aren't as safe as maybe they should be. So that means that you are at high risk. Even if you've taken ag before, even if you've been in the shop before, you are at high risk of getting injured, okay? So there's a direct relationship between craftsmanship and safety. It takes a lot of concentration to do a job right, and by concentrating, you're less likely to be distracted on the job. And moving too fast causes accidents. Being distracted causes accidents. So we need to make sure that we're focused, we're ready to work in the shop every day that we go in there, okay? Then I have some general safety review. So we need to wear PPE. That stands for personal protective equipment, personal protective equipment is PPE. Why do we need to wear it? To keep us safe, right? So we wear closed-toed shoes to protect our toes. If we drop something, we wear safety glasses to protect our to protect our eyes. And then we wear a mask because COVID. You need to use guards all the time. Guards don't necessarily mean you won't get injured because guards can be used incorrectly, but if they're used correctly, then we'll be fine. Safety lines on the floor, make sure that you're paying attention to those. You're not too close or you're not standing inside the safety line while someone else is using equipment. The location of the first aid kit is on top of the sink. You can look back in first 9-week folder and find a video of a shop tour. Fire extinguisher, there's several in the shop. One is next to the yellow cabinet. One is near the welding room. And then no loose clothing, jewelry, and you need to have your hair tied back. There's a Google Doc here that further goes over general safety rules, and you need to look at that for your assignment today. Handling material safety, back injuries are the most common injuries suffered by carpenters because of how they lift objects. You need to lift with your legs, not your back. Okay, lift with your legs, not your back, and that's what that image is showing right there. Terms to know, stock, that just means the wood that we're working with. People refer to it as stock. Fence is the thing you're pushing the stock up against. It looks like a little wall or a fence. Guard is the plastic thing on top of the blade. Grain is the way the lines in the wood go. So when we say we're cross-cutting, we're crossing against the grain. So let's just say that these lines are the grain, okay? These lines are the grain. If we're cutting this way, we're across the grain, cross-cutting. If we're cutting with the grain, we're ripping, okay? And then flush means you're pushing something perfectly in line with each other, okay? Avoiding saw kickback. So kickback is one of the most common risks of using portable circular saws, table saws, and radial arm saws, and it occurs when the stock or the wood is being caught, gets caught and is thrown back at the operator at high speed. Kickbacks can be prevented with simple precautions, and there's a video there for you to watch. Okay, circular saw. I'm not going to go into this too much because you have all of the material for these safety rules in the study guide. The highlighted stuff is super important. Please pick up on what I'm saying here. Highlighted part is super, super important. You can read that, and it's here on this slideshow. Okay. So the numbers in these are super important. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to those. Make sure you're looking at the highlighted parts. So the portable circular saw is with or against the grain, so cross-cutting or ripping. Kickback occurs when the saw itself is thrown back at the operator, and if you feel the need to force the cut, then something's wrong. You need to stop and figure out your problem. Table saw. Probably one of the scariest things we use, but we have saw stop, which is technology that helps us. If the blade detects moisture, it gets sucked into the machine and it prevents us from getting injured. So we can't use pressure treated wood on the table saw, or because it has moisture in it and it's detected, or if your finger or a piece of metal touches the saw blade, it gets sucked into the machine. And I have a video on one of these slides for you to watch that shows that. The guy that created the saw stop technology actually stuck his finger to the blade, and they put like a hot dog through it to show that, the technology is sound and that it works. So we're going to be using the table saw for ripping. I don't really like using it for cross cutting, but it can be used for that. Okay, so kickback is when a workpiece getting pinched between the blade and the fence, and the saw kerf closing up behind the blade. So the saw kerf is like the little empty space behind where you cut. So when you are cutting, it kind of the wood is chipped away, right? And it wants to bend the wood. Okay, in each case, the workpiece can be hurled toward the operator at great speed. And to avoid the danger, you need to take the following precautions. There's a video here that I was telling you about, and then remember, in the study guide, all of the highlighted stuff is super important. I encourage you to read through all of it, but definitely know the highlighted stuff. Okay, so this is the miter saw. It is used for crosscuts and angles. You can change the angle of it. A lot of people use miter saws to cut like the trim of doors and stuff like that. Like I said, you look at the study guide. The radial arm saw is basically just a circular saw that's mounted. You pull it forward and then push it back. We're going to use it for cross cutting mostly, but you can rip with it. Okay, the bandsaw, it is the one that you can cut out like more intricate cuts with it. You just need to use release cuts. Make sure you look at the study guide. The router, we have handheld routers and we have a table. These are usually used for the pretty outer edges that you see like on chairs and stuff like that. And I am missing a slide there with information, but like I said, it's on the study guide, but I'll put that in before I upload this video. The saber saw, you probably have heard it called the jigsaw. It's basically the handheld version of the bandsaw. The drill press, we use it to drill holes. You can change out the bits, and you can put different size holes in your stock. Okay, if you have any questions about any of that, let me know, and I will answer those. I'm going to post a substitution assignment for remote students for our safety test. But if you'd like to come in person and take the real safety test, then you absolutely can, but that is not required of you. But if you ever want to come up here for labs, you'll have to take an in-person version of the test before I will let you go in the lab, okay? And then you have an assignment. It's just a few questions for you to answer. 6 questions for you to answer. Easy peasy, and I went over all of that. It's on the slides on the Google Doc that's attached to the slides. If you have any questions, let me know. Your SAE is 10 hours, 5 pictures, due May 1st. Don't forget about that. If you need help going over anything, let me know. I'll be happy to make a video for you to go over that, but everything is in our SAE stuff folder. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you're happy and healthy, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Okay, hey guys, I just realized you couldn't see me in part of the video when I was talking about what ripping and cross-cutting was. So I'm going to go over that real quick. So let's just say the lines on this piece of paper are the grain of the wood. So cross-cutting would be going against them, okay, like going straight across. Ripping would be going with them, okay? That's all. If you have any questions, let me know.